Hey guys, Bardman here, and welcome to episode 3 of Battlefield 3 for Beginners. So, this episode we're going to talk about 3 topics. We've got spotting, and that's quite closely related to the minimap topic that we covered in episode 2. Kill cam and the directional damage indicator. So, let's get started. Okay, so for the first topic, we've got spotting, and what do we mean by spotting? It's not just seeing an enemy on the screen. It's actually when you do see that enemy, maybe a soldier or a vehicle, is hitting the spot button, and jump into in a moment what they are on each of the platforms. But so you hit the spot button, and a number of things happen at that point. So what you get is on the screen itself, the enemy or enemies that you just spotted will get a little Dorito above the head, and you'll remember Dorito from episode 2 on the minimap. So they'll get a little orange triangle above their head or on top of the vehicle if it's a vehicle. And that little triangle is visible not only to yourself, but also anyone on your team. So, if you can only just make out, or if maybe you can't make out anyone at all and you spot in a general direction, you'll actually identify enemies within your field of view. So obviously that's quite useful if you can't see them, and even if you do see them, if they're perhaps running around a corner or whatever, you can actually track them as they go just looking on the screen. The other thing that happens is that little Dorito will show up on the minimap. So again, visible to yourself and to your teammates, you'll see again that particular vehicle or soldier. They'll show up, you'll see the direction they're facing, and probably more important, when they go around the corner is on the minimap, you'll be able to see where they go after that. Maybe they'll go around the corner and head back and face towards you. So you know that if you come around, you can expect them to be aiming at you and potentially shooting you. So obviously that's quite a useful function, not only to yourself but to your team in general, in terms of just identifying where the opposition is on the map. So this next screen here, we've just got how to spot. So how on each of the different platforms, there's a spot button. So on Xbox, you've got the back button there. Just highlight that little red circle. On PS3, it's the select button. Again, I've highlighted. And on the PC, the default key is Q. I understand you can change the key bindings on the keyboard, but the default's Q. So I guess we know a little bit about what spotting is and how we do it. So I've got a couple of clips here that perhaps just will highlight that. So let's jump into them. So this first clip is really just trying to show the mechanic of spotting in action. So you can see I've spotted those 2 players and the little Doritos, and not only I guess the Doritos, but also the names of the players have shown up above their head. If you look at the mini-map now, you can actually see what direction that they're facing as well. So clearly that's a big advantage to not only yourself, but the other players in your team. And this last guy here, spotted again, and being able to do that, just to see him move along there and to track him along with your fire as he moves along, is that's a huge advantage. This next clip is a great example of the benefits of spotting. So you can see my teammates have spotted up a couple of players there. I can't see them on the screen. Bam, there you go. Couldn't see him at all, but on the mini-map he was spotted and was able to take him out. This last clip's really just trying to highlight the fact that you really should spot any enemies whenever you see them. So you'll notice that I spot out a jet right at the beginning there. That's not necessarily going to be a huge advantage to me, because jets aren't always a big infantry threat, and certainly him flying by there, I'm not too worried by him. But clearly, if you're in a dogfight and you can see, or someone spotted out the enemy jets for you, that's going to be a big advantage to you. So it's a teamwork, it's a team-oriented thing to do. I mean, you can see I get 10 points. I mean, that's the benefit you get for when you spot an enemy and that enemy gets taken out, you get a 10-point bonus. That's not necessarily a huge incentive or motivation, but clearly if you're looking to win a round and you need your team to do well, and spotting is just one way to help that happen. So the second topic for this episode is focused on the kill cam. So what is the kill cam? Really simply put, it's just a few seconds, maybe 5 seconds or so, of footage you get of the person that's killed you. So after they kill you, you can see what's happening around that player, what that player's doing, and what's happening around them for a number of seconds before you're able to spawn back into the game. So you can do two things at this point. I mean, you can rage at the screen that you died, and why didn't those 20 bullets you put in their head take him down? Or I guess the smarter thing to do is actually to look at the footage you see in the kill cam and try and get some information from that you can use to your advantage. Really, it's also, I guess, it's a double-edged sword as well. So whilst when someone kills you, you can see what that player's doing. If you're killing other players, they can follow and track what you're doing. So you need to be smart on both sides. So try and understand when someone has killed you, what's going on, where is that player going, are there other players around them, have they put down a claymore, all those things I think that you can study and get some information from, so that when you spawn back into the game, you can take advantage of them. The flip side is, once if you have killed someone, be conscious of the fact that they're going to be getting a view from, I guess a third-person view of you and what you're doing for the next couple of seconds. So, if you were thinking about putting down a claymore, for example, maybe it's better to wait for a while before you be comfortable with the fact that they're not going to see that anymore, because they may see it and then share it with other players, and you lose some of the benefit of that. The other thing is, if you're thinking about staying put, you might want to fool the opposition and run off in a different direction for a while, and then come back when you're comfortable that the kill cam is gone. Just something to think about. I mean, there are lots of different things that you can do. First, you can understand, I guess, from them, and also things that you can do when you've killed someone that potentially can play out to your advantage. So I've got a couple of clips here. So let's jump into them. So this first clip, where we're playing on Karkand and trying to take out this tank that's approaching the A flag from the enemy spawn. And so I get to one javelin to him, and he quickly notices that I'm there. So I beat a retreat while I'm reloading to try and find another angle to shoot him at. I noticed this recon that runs past me, so I thought, I better take care of him. So I go in there, shoot him, and he's done an about face and he shoots me in the head. So it's a bit unfortunate. But one of the things I notice on the kill cam after he kills me is he doesn't move anywhere. He's just sat up in that spot. So I guess, what I'm thinking is when I spawn in again, I'm just going to check to see whether he's still there. And sure enough, I spawned back in and worked my way back up to the building, and he's exactly where he was when the kill cam finished. So it's quite easy to take him out. So that's, I guess, one of the lessons learned around kill cam is you should really never, unless you're very comfortable with where you are, you should never really stay camped in one position after you kill a player, because they're going to see you. They're going to see exactly that, and they're going to come back to get you 9 times out of 10. So the second clip, really, I guess, a similar theme to the first one. I noticed that the A flag is flashing, so I make my way up there, and I notice the guy is noob tubing out from right in the corner. So I rush in to try and take him out, but my aim's not necessarily that great, and he's glitched into the wall there. So he kills me pretty quickly. But again, I see on the kill cam that he hasn't really moved at all. So I spawn back in on my squad mate, I actually called out to him that the player was there, but he managed to kill him anyway. So yeah, given that he's glitched into the wall there, I said, well, I'll throw a nade in there just to flush him out. Out he pops, and I take him down. It's really, I guess, there's two examples of a similar theme of someone camping after they've killed someone. You're really setting yourself up to be taken out in that circumstance. So the third topic for this episode is focused on the directional damage indicator. So what is that? It's, I guess simply put, it's really an indicator that shows up on the screen to tell you from which direction that you're taking damage. So let's jump into the first clip. We're just on Grand Bazaar, and I've just taken out a player here, and I'm moving up behind this truck, and I notice there's a player there shooting his skill cannon towards me. And so I just freeze the screen there, and you can really guess, you can see, I guess, two types of damage show up. So I've highlighted those with the red arrows. You can see when you get damaged in the game, you get this kind of, I don't know, blood splatters or whatever. The screen starts to get a little bit dark and so on. That's just a general indicator that you're taking damage. And of course, you've got your health percentage in the bottom right there. But you've also got, you're not necessarily always going to be looking at that. So those indicators, general indicators, are telling you that, hey, you're taking damage. But in the middle there, I've got an arrow pointing towards the directional damage indicator. So that little arc there is at the top. You can picture that as a circle. That's at the top of a circle. That's telling you that you're taking damage from the front. Now, that little arc can appear, I guess, anywhere on the compass. So, it might be directly from the right. So in that case, the right of the screen, in that case, you're taking damage from the right. Might be on the left of the screen, in which case you're taking damage from the left, or it can also be a variation of might be in between the top and the right, so you're taking damage from that direction, and it'll be down the bottom when you're taking direct damage from behind. So clearly, that's something that you want to be conscious of when when you are taking damage, looking at that very quickly to see where that's coming from. So if it's from the side or from the back, you may not necessarily have a lot of time to respond, but at least you give yourself an opportunity. So let's take a look at a quick clip on that. So in this clip, you'll see that someone managed to get the drop on me here as they've come up the stairs. But I have seen the little indicator that popped up on the screen, so I'm actually able to respond in time and turn around and shoot him. And you won't necessarily do that. It's probably like a 1 time out of 10 opportunity. I think he had a handgun and wasn't necessarily that accurate with it. But, 1 time out of 10 is better than 0 times out of 10. So, it's just a small demonstration, I guess, of, how you can see where, the direction that damage is coming from and respond to it. So that wraps it up for this episode of Battlefield 3 for Beginners. Just wanted to highlight the key points. I think in terms of spotting, you should always be looking to spot enemies. That's infantry, vehicles, in the air, on the ground, doesn't matter. I think you should always be looking to spot up the opposition to help not only yourself but your team. Use the kill cam to your advantage, and I guess be aware that when you kill someone, you're showing up on their kill cam. So be smart with what you see when someone kills you, and also what you do after you've killed someone. And the last point there, just the directional damage indicator. Again, I say it's your friend. Again, being able to understand where you're being hit from and just respond to that. Again, the time to kill in Battlefield 3 is really quick, so you won't always be able to do much about that. But in the times that you can, take that advantage. Anyway, as always, I welcome feedback. We're episode 3 now. I think the there are many more points to cover. So I look forward to input from you guys on things that can and should be improved. Thanks for watching.